Boston Bros is #1 thing not, you're dead wrong. You can catch me doing misbehaving with my products on. It's real boxing talk every time we meet with Ned, the TBE, and Conspir-A-Gee. We bring it to you raw, unbiased, you know the deal. You can even get a poor dealer here from Dollar Bill with my guys by my side. You know we going live. All we need you to do is please like and subscribe. Boxing Bros. Peace.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros was a fight that was on the undercard, and it turned out to be very interesting. Jerry Forrest survives 3 knockdowns in the first 3 rounds, fights Zhang to a 10-round draw. Now, if you watch that fight, you can see Zhang from China. He's 6'6", towered over. Forrest was the bigger guy, dropped Forrest 3 times in the first 3 rounds. Forrest got up, fought back, hurt Zhang. Zhang eventually had a point deduction because he was doing the classic big man tactic of getting the shorter guy in the headlock and then putting all your body weight on him. He did it excessively. He lost a point. It was a majority draw. 2 of the judges scored it as a draw, and 1 judge scored it for Forrest as the winner. So it was a majority draw. And Trill Dollar Bill, what was your reaction to that fight? What did you think after the first 3 rounds, and then what were your thoughts when it went to the decision and Forrest got a draw?
First 3 rounds, I was like, oh, everybody's gonna be gassing. You know what I'm saying? But then I started seeing the grit and the determination of this young man, Forrest. He was not gonna be denied. You know, he wasn't spectacular, but he was outworking him. And he was throwing them shots, he was ripping them shots to the body, and I think that's what gas Zhang out also. Him kept ripping the shots to the body, and he was outworking him. He ended up fighting his way back into the fight and getting a draw. I thought he deserved a draw, you know. And to him, it was a moral victory. You know, he's been down before, you know, and this time he just felt like he was in the best shape of his life and he wouldn't be denied. And he went out there and he fought. Shout outs to the refs for letting him continue because, you know, a lot of times the refs would have stopped the fight after the 2nd knockdown, especially after the 3rd knockdown. They would have stopped the fight.
Yeah, and Zhang fans would have been blaming the ref like Wilder fans blame Jack Reese. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It was kind of remembrances of, you know, the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury first fight, you know, when, you know, Fury was dropped, you know, 3 times in that fight, but still won the majority of the rounds and came back to get a draw, you know, so he wasn't out in that fight. I was impressed. I was impressed with the kid Forrest. He was impressed with himself too. He was happy that he got the draw, seeing that he was knocked down 3 times and he came back to fight. He was happy for that draw. He was so happy for the draw. You know, he did a backflip in the ring and he called out the #1 heavyweight in the sport, you know, well, depending on how you see it, you know, the #1 and the #2. AJ. You know what I'm saying? He was feeling himself that much, you know what I'm saying, after that draw, you know, and very much so. Because after being dropped 3 times and coming back and almost winning the fight and winning the fight on one of the judges' scorecards. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot to be proud about. So, but you know, just slow it down, big fella. You know, even though I know you want that bag. You know, I was impressed. Just not with the skill, but with the heart of Forrest.
All right, no doubt. So we're gonna turn it over to Conspir-A-Gee.
Man, listen, I'll say this. That fight was way more entertaining than Parker versus Farr. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like at first, I was like, damn, how much more punishment can this dude take? You know what I'm saying? Like, he got dropped like round 1, drop. Round 2, drop. Round 3, drop. I was like, fam, referee, if he drops one more time, call it, dog. But then I'll say this. Forrest got the best legs, pause, in the heavyweight division. Is every time he got dropped, he immediately got back up. He never once had spaghetti legs. Crazy. And even when he was fatigued from Zhang like leaning on him and everything, bruh, when they announced that he got the draw or whatever, you just did 10 rounds with this heavy 6 foot whatever dude, this giant, and you still could do a backflip. I'm like, fam, you gotta salute them dudes' legs, bro. I don't know what he do for leg day, but salute to him, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He was in shape.
You talking a lot about his legs right now.
I'm saying, like, yo, I don't mean it like that. Pause. But I'm saying, salute to the leg.
Salute to the leg.
You gonna let that fly, Ned?
Nah, yo. Because they're about to talk about his back. So, facts, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say this. It's more than just jump roping that could do you like that, could help you out like that. So he must have a whole leg day, maybe leg week. I don't know, but he's doing something great. But I ain't gonna front. If I was the ref, man, I'm like, you keep getting hit, bro. Like, I don't know. But then you started noticing the later rounds, bro. Your man, Zhang, whatever his name is, bro, he was gone. He was fatigued. I'm telling you, if they went 11 rounds, that's when your boy from China would have got knocked out. And salute to Boston Bros China, man, because this dude actually has the skills. He has to work on his endurance, though. Like, and I understand it's a heavyweight division. People underestimate, the tank, but you need that, especially if he wants to go up against like an AJ or a Fury. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you just need your legs. Like, you just need that endurance, and he just couldn't do it anymore. Like, literally, he even like turned his back in the last round. He was about to get dropped. I'm like, fam, you about to die. So you lucky it only went 10 rounds. You know what I'm saying? But salute to Forrest. But I would say this, Forrest, you're not ready for AJ. But I do have a fighter that you should fight next. You should go up against Big Baby Anderson. I think it'll be a good matchup for both gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if either or can knock out each other, I think now people are going to be like, all right, you know what? Let's check out these, whoever wins. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a good level up for both gentlemen. So, but Forrest, man, I mean, I'm not going to say your performance was spectacular, but I like how you take punches. It sounds crazy. Because he gets hit, he immediately gets up. Like, it wasn't like, when dudes get to spaghetti legs and they start doing the stanky leg, he didn't do none of that. He was like, yo, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, boop, he gets dropped, he wakes up like, all right, let's go. I'm like, all right, bro. Like, so I just like to see him with somebody a bit more athletic, because Zhang ain't really the most athletic, but he's so intimidating because of his size and his power. So, I would like to see him against a Big Baby Henderson.
All right, TV.
Oh, man. That was a long yawn. So for this fight, I'll say this. All right, when I like the beginning to this fight, what I saw, I was like, I was not impressed. Like, yeah, he was getting knocked on his butt, and Zhang was doing this thing, and then as the fight progressed, I was like, what's going on? Like, why isn't he getting knocked on his butt anymore? Like, and so from that point, I was like, all right. So he finally bounced back from getting knocked down so many times, and then he took over this fight, and I was just like, I was impressed. At the end, I was impressed with his perseverance. He persevered through all that beating he took in the earlier rounds, and we saw Zhang was like, he threw everything he got in the first. Sometimes as a heavyweight, you throw what you got. You throw the tool shed in the first couple of rounds, and he threw the tool shed. He threw everything. He threw the hammer, the screwdriver, the nails, everything, the power drill at Forrest, and Forrest took it and withstood it. Gee, watch your mouth, fix your face. Don't look at me like that, okay? And pause if it sounded suspect. But. But I was impressed with the comeback, because he came back and he was willing. He was able to take his shots and pull a draw. But for me, it's still a low tier heavyweight fight, but it was an impressive heavyweight fight. It was an entertaining heavyweight fight. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. So at the start of this fight, I already know that they're trying to set up Zhang and Joshua in China. That's something that they want to set up, because they have amateur history. Joshua beat him in the amateurs, and it was going according to script in the first 3 rounds. In the first 3 rounds, I was like, oh my goodness, man, seriously. It was like, come on, man. Like, this is just bad. Cause like they set it up because they were like, yeah, you know, Forrest is a live one here. I put my money on Forrest, you know what I'm saying? If I had a bet. And then Forrest had like the confident walk to the ring. So I was like, yeah, my man's just feeling good. He might, you know, he's a live one. So when I saw him get dropped in the first 3 rounds, I was like, yo, the zone need to stop shipping in people to come in here and get beat up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just terrible.
Lord was eating soul food, bro.
I know. I was like, dang, it was like Zhang had a taste for soul food. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was Black History Month, and he was like, yo, you know what I'm saying?
Give me some collard greens.
That's right. You know he was like, yo.
Macaroni and cheese.
That's right. He said, get some baked macaroni and cheese, some collard greens, and some sweet potato pie. Like, yo, it was just like, he was feasting. He was having a feast. And then,
got the itis.
For the fight, my man Forrest started having sushi. I was like, yo, this is this is crazy. You know, what happened was it looks like Zhang threw himself out trying to get the impressive knockout and trying to stop Forrest. But Forrest was resilient and Forrest just hung in there. Because you can see after the 3rd knockdown, when Forrest was in his corner, he looked deterred. He looked beaten. He looked like he was resigned to just like, yo, I can't compete with this guy. But it was after he survived that 4th. And then he started to see that Zhang was tired. And then he just stayed in. Zhang, you told Forrest you were tired. Because before, you weren't as willing to engage in those clinches and you were more active. But see, Zhang, you became more willing to engage in those clinches and then just hold. And you silently send that message to Forrest that you were fading and that you were done. Just for the fact you were willing to hold and stay there too long. See, before you put your weight on, throw him out there, do a little work. But then you were just like holding until the ref broke it up. And that was all Forrest needed to know you were fading. Then it became evident to anyone with 2 eyes that Zhang was fading. So then Forrest started to up his activity. And I'm not upset with the draw. But Zhang, you should be. Zhang Z, if I'm mispronouncing the name, of course, you know, it's not intentional. But Zhang, you dropped the guy 3 times and then you got a draw. That's bad. That's bad. That's terrible.
That's
Go ahead,
crazy.
bro. What you gonna say, bro? Go ahead.
No, I didn't want you was working. You was working.
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I was just piggybacking off of what you were saying. I was like, and you almost threw the fight away with the last seconds left, because if the ref was really on his game like that, he could have stopped the fight, especially when you turned your back.
Yeah.
He could have ended the fight.
Yeah. And I wish like refs would do more. Like in the heat of the moment, if you turn your back like that, if they don't want to stop the fight, it should at least be a point. Because you're doing it because you don't want to fall. You're doing it because you don't want to get knocked down. You're doing it because you don't want to get hurt. So if in the heat of the moment you turn your back like that, it should be an automatic point deduction because you're doing it to gain an advantage. And although he turned away in the last seconds and they say, hey, don't do that, he still wins because he didn't go down. So I'm with you on that. If you're not going to stop the fight, at least deduct a point for turning around. It should be a rule. Turning around and running is an automatic point deduction because that saved Pulev and it saved Yang too. So he got dropped 3 times and then it was still a draw. That's a bad look for you. Like no one's looking at you now like, yeah, Joshua in China. We're looking at you like, if you were lucky to draw with him, which brings me to my man Forrest. I saw it, bro. You got dropped. You were hurt. You looked deterred in the corner, but then you survived, and then you end up getting a draw. Bro, I know some people are going to laugh, but I'm glad you celebrated that draw like a win. You deserved it, bro, That was pure heart. That was determination. You were brought in to be food. You were brought in to be soul food. You know what I'm saying? And you were brought in to be chitlins and hot sauce. You know what I'm saying? And so what you did was impressive because you turned. That's a bad beginning. You know, like that's a really bad beginning. That's like 3 touchdowns in the first 3 minutes start. And then you finish that game with a draw. Like that's.
Listen, we praised Marquez for that performance the first fight against Manny Pacquiao. He was dropped 3 times in that first round and came back and got a draw.
Yeah. You know, that is impressive. You deserve to celebrate. That takes some resilience. Like, real talk, I got a lot of respect for Jerry Forrest. And I think that's the same Jerry Forrest who's going to fight Big Baby Miller. And then Big Baby Miller end up popping positive. So, you know, you got your shine. But of course, in the heat of the moment, you went a little too far. Walking back to the locker room, you said, "Give me Joshua. Give me Joshua." I'm going to translate that for y'all. Give me money. Give me money. Give me the bag. Give me the bag. But I'm not mad at you. On the real, Zhang showed he has real talent, but he needs to get that conditioning up. Forrest showed tremendous heart. And you know what? He said he didn't train well for like his fight against Takam and another fight that he lost. I just think Forrest, man, people give him a shot, man. Get this guy a real camp. He showed something. He got a lot of heart. And he has some talent. So both men, I don't think that neither one of them should fight anyone else. Do it again. I want to see it again.
Let us know how you feel.
You know what I'm saying?
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.